Hello. In this video I will discuss about the differences between shock absorber. This is Maxi, between Super Max, Standard Max and Lux. But before that I will finish something I was saying in my last video before camera. Was low of battery, so if you cannot install this tool to remove shock absorber, you will have no other choice than to cut this part somewhere here. So you will need to cut hole here so that you can get access to this bolt, and then you will have to find some way to unscrew it. That was the only solution I had, because the NSU Max that I'm restoring had that problem. Since shock absorber was damaged, the spring was damaged, and I couldn't install the tool, so I had no other choice than to cut this part of the front fork and then remove. So this is Maxi shock absorber. This one is a Super Max and a Special Max. I don't have complete one, but this one is from the Standard Max, and Lux has also this. So you can see there is a difference. And this is also rear shock absorber. This is also from my vehicle. It is also damaged. The spring is cracked, so I had a lot of trouble to remove this. So this is the rear shock absorber, and I think that Standard Max, Special Max and Lux have this. So this is the differences of those three vehicles. But they are almost identical in the manufacturing. They have some differences, but the main part is almost identical to remove or repair. So I will show you how to disassemble. This is a Maxi. Now inside you have these two nuts in this hole here, like this. Now to remove those nuts, you will need to have R impact wrench, because if you will see that everything is spinning if you try to remove this nut. So you will need to have speed and force. After you move this part, the spring will go down. Now when you are removing this part on the Super Max or Special Max, the spring is loaded at that moment, because this shock absorber is longer, so when you remove this bolt nothing will happen. But on this Super Max or Special Max, the spring will pop up, so you need to secure the spring, so if anything happens, this part will go and you will be avoid from damaging yourself. So you need to be careful when you are removing this part. So this is the differences between Max, Maxi. Also this is that damaged shock absorber. As you can see, this thread is smaller because someone has already damaged it, but it's still long enough to be able to install the bolt. This is one part here is a round, while this one you can install wrench. Now here is a safety pin. Now you can have a special tool. I'll use this one. Here is two holes on this upper part. This is something like a nut. Now here you have this rubber. This is for sealing so that the oil cannot go out. And there is also inside there are rubber rings that are also sealing this part where the piston is moving. This part can be bought on eBay if you have this part heavily damaged, or if you after you install this part, if this part is leaking, then you can buy this part new one. But unfortunately it is quite expensive. I think it is about 50 euro. So you can remove this some sort of a metal ring, and after that you can remove these rubber rings. So if you can find the same dimension of this rubber ring that are that can withstand the damage from the oil, you can install that one and it will probably work like original, and that will save you a lot of money. So this part can be repaired. Now here is also some sort of piston ring. This part can also be replaced with a new one, but I never found anywhere to buy this one, so you can find someone who can make piston rings. Now Maxi has this plastic, Max has a steel rings, but I never ever changed these rings, and the shock absorber were working quite okay, so I never bother with this part. I only clean this part. So this is a cylinder, this part goes in. So this piston ring, you can see how much is damaged, used up, or but as I said before, I never ever changed this part here, and all of the shock absorber that I was repairing worked quite okay. Now on this part here there are small spring, something like a needle, so we need to be careful, they are still inside. Oh, these are those three parts. They go inside here. First this part, then this small spring, and then this cover. Now I will press this part of this cover a little bit so that it will stuck. So this is how this part is looking. Now you can also remove this part. And now you can clean this part separately with this part. The only thing that is still inside is this second rubber ring, like this one. That ring will go onto this part here. Now all parts are this is completely disassembled, and you can clean all of these parts, and it would be wise to use a gas or something like that, not something aggressive, because the rubber part that is inside could be damaged by aggressive liquid for cleaning. Now, unfortunately, I never found out how much oil needs to go inside this shock absorber. So I usually install, put inside around 60 milliliters of oil. Oil you can buy on some shops that are selling a special oil. Oil is for shock absorber only. So you can buy those oils and replace oil with new one. So after you clean all of these parts, you go step by step and install them back. Now you need to be certain that this cylinder inside is stuck into that rubber ring. So if you have done it okay, when you turn this back, it will not fall out. So now you're certain that you have installed this part correctly. Now this part will go. You will probably have trouble installing this part because of this ring here. So I will remove this part. At this moment it would be wise to install the oil. After that, this part. This goes down and this goes up. Now I will remove this rubber ring and install it here. It is much easier when you install the rubber separately. Now this part. Before you install this bolt, it would be wise to pull up and down several times so that the air could go out, and then completely install it. So if everything is okay, the shock absorber will go inside quite easily. When you try to pull it out, you will need to have a really big force to pull it out. So this is it. This is how you can replace oil and clean this part, and if necessary you can replace this part, or if you can find rubber rings that go inside, you can also do that. Now the same thing is with the Max shock absorber. Inside there are few differences, but everything is the same as in this one, so there are almost no differences. I don't know, are there differences in the looks or standard Max. So this is for Super Max, Special Max and Maxi. They have this type of the front shock absorber. Now the same thing is for the rear shock absorber. So this is how this part is installed, and it's not disassembled. Is located in the frame, inside of the frame. So this is the frame, and this is the rear mudguard. So this part is inside the frame, connected with this bolt here, and this part is connected to the rear swing arm. So when you remove this bolt, you will be able to remove the swing arm. Now, since this part has been damaged, I don't know how to remove it correctly, but I'm thinking that since there are two holes here and here, you probably need to have some tool to install in these holes and then spin it or unscrew it out, same as the front shock absorber. And after you remove this bolt here, you can remove it out. Now it has this safety ring and also this cover that has this thread. You can remove it similarly like a front absorber, but this has a 3 tunnel, so it would be better if you have some sort of a special key to remove it. And inside is probably similar to the front shock absorber. You remove it step by step, clean it and put it back, and that's it. This is how you can clean and repair front and rear shock absorber. Unfortunately, I don't have a rear shock absorber from the Super Max and Maxi. They are different. Those shock absorbers are from the outside of the frame, similar like all today's standard motorcycles. But if I found one cheap, I'll buy it and make a video of how to clean and repair a rear shock absorber. So see you then.